Perfect.
And then should we pin? Or
Oh,
how do you
yeah.
want to do it? We can pin the speaker.
There we go.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yay, here we are.
Everyone, welcome again. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your excitement on learning more about just exploring the realms of frequency and about just how it is literally the foundation of everything and how it can be woven into our life and our business practices. And I know we're going to share more. It's going to be more of like a conversation and a flow between us and Nadine, because we know she always has some amazing downloads. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of start now and share a little bit about kind of like maybe our vision or our vision for humanity, or even our passion.
Why we're here.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll go ahead and start us. I'm Nadine. For those who know me or don't know me, I love connection. I love authentically communicating, finding ways to really connect to emotional intelligence. And I have that vision for many people on this planet. I love connecting myself as well as other people to authenticity, to abundance, and ultimately alignment, the AAA. Love anything and everything energy, and just really have this vision and mission for everybody on this planet to raise their vibration, to awaken to themselves, and ultimately reclaim their sovereignty and remind themselves that we all have this beautiful gift of power and love. And so that's like a general ethereal vision of what I'm called here to do. There's of course many tangible visions of how I want to execute that, but that's really my main jam. So I'll pass it over to Cassie and Kate. What's y'all's vision?
Yeah, that definitely resonates. We are on the same path of just finding our truth and just saying yes and being in pure alignment. And that's what stepping into that frequency has really brought us here to this very now moment today. Working in the quantum, working with frequency. And we also believe in freedom, sovereignty, and just always seeking to continue bettering ourselves, whether in knowledge, in our beliefs, and just our overall being, right? And just living in alignment has been a really big theme for us these last several months here. And, we work with energy, we work with Reiki, we work with frequency, and just love weaving the two into our lives and reaching others by also sharing frequency with as many people as we can.
Yeah. I want to like tag on to that too, because like with our journey, we just have learned how frequency really is the cornerstone of everything. And like even when we became like got our attunements with Reiki, and we were working with that, we didn't realize it's frequency, it's energy. And us as humans, like we all vibrate like in our own, like at our own pace or at our own energy and frequency. So it's just really cool to have like explored this realm and just dive deep into what that really looks like and what that means for all of us. So we're super excited to share about that.
Yes. Hello, Jackson and others. Yasmin, what's up?
Hey, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Before we start, I want to actually ask, where is everyone from? If you want to put your location, like drop it in the chat. Kind of want to know where everyone's viewing, where everyone's watching from.
We're a little playful with energy, so we might interact with y'all.
Oh, she's from Katie's in Spain right now.
Y'all are both in Spain. That's cool.
Yes.
You can tell I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we connected through frequency the other week. We met up. So it's really amazing how this community is just all over the world, and wherever you turn, people are just popping up with frequency, and it's really beautiful to connect. Oh,
yes. Yeah, Jackson's my homie G in Texas.
Amazing.
Oh, from Florida.
Cool.
I love that. Heck yeah.
I kind of want to get us out of our comfort zone for a second, because I'm all about embodiment. So you could either mute yourself or unmute yourself. And what I want us to do is we're going to clap our hands like we're at an audience, and we're just going to keep clapping them really loud. So if you're not able to do so and you're driving, don't do this, but just like go really loud. And then close your eyes and feel your hands if you did do this. And feel the tingles, feel the vibration, feel that mushy, good, yummy, delicious energy. Yes. Maybe take a breath, breathing into that energy that you just transmuted, letting that go. And opening your eyes if you had them closed at your own timing. Welcome back. In case, I know most of y'all know who you are, but do any of y'all know what you are? So if anyone wants to type in the chat, kind of gave you a clue with what we just did. It is energy. Yes, NRG. Yes. We, as all of you know, like what we're going to be speaking about mostly today is all stuff that we already know inside. This is just a remembrance of who we are, what we are claiming in this life. And everybody's definition of what that means is different. But I just want to share with y'all, energy is like the basis of who we are, you know, like we're all interacting right now, and there's several things that might be coming up for us. And, you know, there's going to be times where energy is going to feel really rich. And there's going to be times where energy is going to feel really stagnant, really poor. You know, for instance, when we, you know, I'm sure all of us can relate, we went to a party or we went to a club, and let's say the vibe wasn't really, you weren't feeling it. It was a little bit yucky, or it really was just not, like it was stagnant, whatever it is. And you just like did not feel good. What is that? That's energy. And you go to another place. Let's say you hang out with a bunch of your friends, or us doing our call, me, Kate, and Cass, and we're over here vibing. Like the energy is feeling really rich, really, really vibrant. It's because we are giving and receiving energy very harmoniously. And then some places you go and some interactions you have, energy is just not going to be that rich. And that's what's so cool about energy, is the energy is able to transmute. We're able to transform. It's able to change and have different matter and different structure. And what I love most about energy is the fact that it's in motion, you know, energy in motion. And I'm sure all of us can relate to emotions that we have from all different sides of the spectrum, whether it be from sadness, grief, whether that be from happiness, joy. And I just find it really cool that we have the ability to change our frequency just by changing our station. And I'm not sure if you guys want to add anything to that frequency and energy, but that's just what's rolling through.
Yeah, no, that's like nail on the head. And I think the one thing I'll add is I actually saw it in a video today. This guy kind of broke it down, how like we are human beings, and we all have brains and hearts, organs, all of these things in our body, and that they all communicate electrically, like through electricity. And our organs, like our heart and our liver and all of these things, are actually generators. They generate electrical currents throughout our body to communicate with our cells and all the pieces of our body to make sure that we are running well and properly and keeping us alive. And it's just really cool because that makes us, I mean, we are electromagnetic. That means we have our own electromagnetic fields, and that we are influenced by other electromagnetic fields. I mean, this is Caitlin's electromagnetic field. And so like you can even feel energy, like people's energy. And so like what you were saying, Nadine, like when you come into a room or like even a restaurant, like yesterday we were kind of like restaurant hopping because we weren't liking the vibe. We went to like 3 different restaurants because we were like, I'm not feeling this vibe, or like, I don't know, it's just like a weird, just a communication of energy, and it wasn't resonating. And when we talk about like resonance, which is all about frequency, whenever, you know, someone says something on the podium or in a movie and it really strikes you, that's resonance. And so we're going to explore that a little bit more, but I just wanted to share about that because it's really in our everyday lives. Like it's nothing new. And it's just a phenomena that's been like with specifically frequency and maybe like microcurrents and stuff like that. And we'll go into that, but that's been, you know, studied, and there's so many case studies and research all about that and how humans, like our bodies, like when there's like a resonance, like it benefits us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, absolutely. And I was going to add to that too, like that this is kind of moving us towards the history of frequency a little bit. Oh wait, do we want to? Oh, I think Jackson has a question.
Yeah.
I was just curious if at some point you guys are going to talk about the interplay between intuition and energy.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I believe we will discuss, I think when we talk about Healy and how that works, we usually talk about discernment and intuition with that as well. I don't know.
I have a follow-up question to that. Jackson, what do you mean like intuition versus energy? Is that what you said?
So I pretty wholeheartedly believe that whenever we are like sort of aware energetically of like what's happening in a room or like what is happening within us, it is a sort of a higher self that is speaking to us through resonance, through frequency. And so I very much think that there's a sort of it's like whenever you listen to your intuition, it just like it sounds different and it like feels different, like hearing the intuition as opposed to like the ego or the mind. And so to me it feels different because it's at like a higher frequency, or it's a higher self, so to say. And so that's kind of curious about that within the realms of this conversation.
I have a follow-up thought to that. I don't know. I don't have like, I feel like the answer I have is very subjective, but what I would say from my perspective on energy is that the more energy rich you are and the more awareness you have, like the more perspectives you're able to carry within one interaction, the more likely you're going to be connected to intuition in the face of making choice and knowing what energetic state you want to embody, you know? I think there's times where we unconsciously make decisions and we kind of question like, what the fuck did I just do? Or what did I just say? Was that really my intuition? Or was that just, like you said, ego? And I feel like for me, like the best way I know is like, am I coming from a place of responding or am I coming from a place of reactivity? If I'm reacting, that is hence ego. That's the patterns that I've ingrained in my subconscious. But if I'm responding, which Jackson, we play with this all the time in our own space in Dallas, then that to me is like intuition, and that even could be subjective. And I really feel like that just depends on who the observer is, such as you, and like what that context looks like. And so I don't know if that answered your question, but I just wanted to paint that perspective.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's a good question. I really enjoyed that question and like exploring that.
Yeah, thanks. But so we are going to dive, this was bringing us a little bit more into the history now with frequency, right? Because frequency is in everything as we have been exploring, but using frequency as a form to support the body and the mind and the spirit, that's been around for a very long time, since the early 1900s, and most likely way before that. But there was Dr. Royal Rife. He was playing with frequency and researching the quantum, and he realized that of course our cells carry a frequency and a vibration, And that means that healthy cells have their own frequency, as well as cells that are in dis-ease. And so he discovered that by introducing a frequency of optimal health, of perfect health, to the cells of dis-ease, it would bring balance and harmonization to the body. So such a powerful philosophy. And, people were going in frequency. They would hook up to these big machines that were like $20,000-$30,000, and they would receive their frequencies and then go home and go back for appointments and whatnot. And they were actually having a lot of breakthroughs, and people were just getting better. And then in the 1950s, it was they put a kibosh on it, and it became taboo to work with frequency. And physicians were like getting their licenses threatened, and because doctors were using this as a form of therapy. And so it kind of got shut down, but now it's coming back, and it's now in this small portable tool that we work with daily that we'll share a bit more about. But I just wanted to give a little bit of background, and feel free to chime in if I missed anything.
Yeah, I wanted to say like it wasn't only frequency too, but like any herbs, like anything of natural, like what people would consider alternative, like that's kind of what they were just kind of silencing and hiding. But I wanted to show you because like I'm reading this book by Carolyn McMacken. Actually, I'll share it with you.
Has anyone heard of Carolyn McMacken?
Yeah, I'm curious.
I
see a hand.
I think it's Katie. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just want to share about this too, because she was one of the pioneers as well, who has been working with frequency since the, I guess mid to late 1900s. And it's cool because in this book, she shares a lot about her experience and the science, because she was a pharmacist for 16 years, and she was like working, with her husband and some other people who just shared a lot of knowledge, and she came across actually like a list of frequencies. And I think her boyfriend at the time shared with her like, oh, these are frequencies from this other, I don't know his title, but anyway, he also worked with a frequency device. And I want to show you like a picture so you can have an idea how the machines look like.
Wow.
So
Wow, those are janky looking.
yeah.
They look like the old radio station.
It's crazy. She was, and this is kind of cut off. I took these pictures from the book, but she was working with these big machines, and like these gloves, like in this picture, they were actually like graphite gloves, and they would have like polar, like a polar, like negative and a positive. And she would place like wherever like the person was feeling like pain or whatever, she was actually like tuning to different frequency channels and resonating, like trying to find the resonance to if it's like their tissue. And then like the other one would be like the condition of the tissue. And she would, once there's a resonance, it would kind of like remove that block, whatever is like, whatever is affecting, like let's say if it's a muscle, or inflammation, like it would be a frequency that would like resonate with that and like remove that inflammation or blockage or pain or whatever. So it's just super cool to explore that. Yeah, but I wanted to share that because it's like if you're interested in the science or wanting to like see more of how that looks like, and hear about people's stories and stuff, this is a really great resource to educate yourself on, like to learn a little bit more about it. But yeah, she kind of walks you through her journey. So I can actually link the book here so you can have it.
Yes.
But I think I got carried away with that because I was like, this book is so cool, but here you go.
Yeah. I definitely want to add to that and just kind of like bring it back down to basics. I'm sure most of us in this chat are like energy workers, or like are familiar with energy or sensitive to energy, or maybe have heard of frequency before. So like this probably isn't your first rodeo, but in case it isn't or whatever, I just kind of want to like refresh us to like the basics of it, kind of tagging along with what Cassie and Caitlin were bringing about in the Resonance Effect book. Like you ever heard of like attracts like and what have you? Or, like pretty much basically where these two particles come together and they kind of form a bond. We see that in the form of like when we're like, for instance, me and Cassie, we're all friends, right? We have this similar resonance, this similar frequency. We're going to draw ourselves together. Or like, for instance, if I'm feeling joy, I'm likely going to attract more people that are feeling joy into my field. Not saying that I won't attract other things into my field, because I have other patterns that come up in my field that I may not even be aware of, which is like a totally separate conversation. But just to bring it back, frequency is everything. Frequency is in the way we speak. Frequency is in the way that we feel. Frequency is in the way that we see. Frequencies everywhere. It's all the elements. It's fire, it's water, it's earth, it's air, and ether, which ether is the space around us. And that's really where frequency is birthed. And it's where everything takes place for then it to form in the 4 or 5 elements on this earth. So I just want to say that frequency is everything. It's who we are. It's what we are, energy. And, you notice, like, for instance, we all have phones, right? Our phones even carry a frequency. Not all frequency is really good for us, quotation marks. Like I'll be on my phone. I don't know if y'all ever notice. Sometimes I'm on my phone and I'll literally be texting and be on my social media sometimes for 30 minutes. And I'll literally start to feel the energy of my phone, like the 5G radiation start to like build up into my arms. Just so gross. But that's just like one example of like frequency that exists, but it's not necessarily healthy or harmonious for the body. And then we have other frequencies that we play with. Let's say sound bowl healing. Like I have a little sound thing right here. Ding, like that's emitting a harmonious frequency. Or if I'm singing a song and it's like, coming from a certain energetic resonance, a certain intention, I may end up emitting a harmonious frequency. So I guess I'm going off a bit, but I really want to hone the point that there's frequency all around. There's harmonious frequencies and there's inharmonious, disharmonious frequencies around. And our purpose and our intention here on this call is to really remind us all of the energy that we carry inside, that we have the ability to shift within us, but also around us, and especially through various tools that we both use. And yeah, I just kind of want to throw that in there. So leave it past the ball to y'all.
Absolutely.
No, that was good. And yeah, there was like a question. I don't know if we wanted to address it, but I really like this question where Jackson was asking, like, where does opposites attract come from?
Are you meaning like just that saying?
Yeah, like, well, I'm assuming, but
Are you all wanting to answer it or...
Did you want clarification on the question?
yeah, I mean, did you?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're referring to just that saying that's out there, like opposites attract.
Well, yeah, and also like magnets as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
No, you're good. Thanks for clarifying.
I don't know the answer to that because I'm not an expert just yet with like how that works, but I will say just from experience, like even like just a quick example and then we'll move on to the next thing. But like Caitlin and I, like you would say if you looked at us, like when we initially met, which we met 3 years ago and totally in different spaces, but we met in Madrid. And anyway, like if you looked at the person, just like spotlight on me and spotlight on her, and like you can literally see how like I was completely opposite of like Caitlin and like her personality and like on all different levels, and then not in a like good or bad way, just that's just what it was. But it's so crazy because like when you were asked, like as I'm like exploring that question and I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I don't know, because like I mean, yeah, in a way, but I feel like there's still like resonance in that. I feel like there's just like a knowing or a resonance that we had. Because even like with your friends and stuff too, I'm sure you have friends who like have different personalities, or like you all kind of bring something different to the table, but you all still like click. And I don't really know like the science part of that. All I can think about is resonance, but maybe just like in a different way, I'm assuming. And if y'all wanted to like tag on that, but just wanted to like acknowledge that because I'm sure that people have same questions. Yeah.
I want to add just a tiny thing, and then we can definitely transition. Yeah, like they said, I don't know the answer either, but I think that's a good question to keep in mind for some more experts in the field that are like the quantum physicists. But from my perspective, I feel like there's multiple layers to different, like everything in life. We have an onion, right? We peel back the layer, there's multiple layers. So there might be one truth that exists in the same, like, yes, there's that resonance and liking attract like, and there also is the truth that there is two opposite forces that come together, magnetize. From my perspective, I feel like I think it all can exist. I think that's the beauty of this universe, is that anything can be created. That's like the basis of energy. And I definitely would be curious to know more about that specific law of the magnetizing of opposite forces. But yeah, just want to mention
sure.
that multiple
Yeah.
truths.
And I think we were transitioning into the tool that we are playing with and that we get to use daily. And it's called Healy. It's what I'm wearing right now. And, it's a beautiful, we like to compare it to fine-tuning an instrument. It's just a tool that we use to support our overall being. And you don't have to use it every day. It's really like, say there was a guitar here and it needed a little bit of tuning, you would just, apply the tuning and support that vessel to bring it into harmonization or into alignment. And that's exactly what Healy does for us, is it reads us in our original blueprint and then offers suggestions and frequencies that we can use in this current moment to support ourselves and bring us into alignment.
Yeah, and technologically, it has I think that's like a really nice, simple, and relatable way to share it, because that's literally what it is and what it does. And like the science part or tech part, I won't go too far into, but essentially with the Healy device, it like the technology in it, it does have a quantum sensor and it does have coil and all of the good things that work with frequency and can manipulate it, or more so like influence it. And from there, that's what it does, where it scans your fields and your bioenergetic fields, like we talked about our electromagnetic fields, and share with us, analyze if there's any imbalances. Could be with like pain, or even if it's like sleep problems or stuff like that. Like, it's kind of cool because it shares with you, kind of like helps you dive deeper into target like what exactly could be going on. And then from there, you can use it to support your body and receive the benefits of frequencies to better harmonize and balance your bodies and your cells. So
Yeah, and we've been using this tool on ourselves, on our family members and friends, because when we first got it, we really wanted to work on sleep, skin, our hormones. And so we were kind of playing trial and error with it first ourselves, and we shared it with our family members, and it's been really amazing to see how their health has shifted in using frequency and receiving frequency, whether they're in the same room as us, or most of our family members have received frequencies at a distance.
And I want to just like quickly share about like why and how, because like in person, because from a distance is a different way, but in person, an example is I'm actually using microcurrents right now, and that's essentially what Healy uses and sends, it sends the frequencies into your body. And what microcurrents are essentially, they're actually frequencies that our own human bodies naturally produce. That's why we can't feel them. Of course, if you there's ways you can, if you increase intensity and all that stuff, you can feel it, but ultimately you really can't feel it. And that's why it's able to influence your cells. And it actually it increases the cell's energy by 500%. So it increases ATP production, amino acid transport, and protein synthesis, which are all really helpful ways that your cells are able to communicate and to function, and to better operate in the way that they need to. So I wanted to share that's with microcurrents, just using that's kind of like with the machines that we were sharing with you, those big machines, people were essentially using microcurrents to support them. And then the other way is like if you're working like, you know, with our family or friends like who are not even in person with us, like from a distance, it actually sends through the same device, it's able to send scalar waves. And you can share, do you want to share a little bit more about scalar waves?
Scalar waves are naturally occurring in nature, so they're also very gentle and they work in the information field, in the quantum, and so they do not decay over space or time, which means that, you know, someone could be in Australia and we could send the frequencies and, you know, they can still be received because they also travel faster than the speed of light. So working the quantum is really powerful, and intention is also a really big thing. And we won't go too much into that right now, but working with this device and with the frequencies, you know, we just hold an intention, and that is really the, you know, which the attention really drives the result, if that makes sense. That
Yeah, it's like getting in a taxi and telling the driver where to go. That's like what your intention does. Now, if you don't have an intention, you just get in the taxi. Like, of course, you just don't really know what to expect. Like, he might just take you wherever he feels like, or he might not take you anywhere. But yeah, that's a really good point.
For sure. And if for those who are more science-minded or interested in the difference between scalar waves and microcurrents, we're dropping an article here in the chat that just dives a little bit more into that science.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I'd love to know, Nadine, a little bit about your experience with the device, if there's anything you wanted to share.
Well, y'all ladies know a lot because you guys brought it to me. But it's been really cool, honestly. At first, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was really weirded out because I wasn't familiar with this type of technology. And yeah, when I saw them using it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are they showing me? You know, and I remember one of the first times they had played with it with me, I was coming out of a family constellation energy workshop, and I was absolutely pooped. And they brought me this tool. They're like, hey, come try it out. And they like scanned my thing. And what the first pattern that showed up in the technology or the device was go to the roots, which was a deeper rooted program. And I was just moving through some energy from this event. And I was like, okay, whatever. And they're like, you want to just run a program? I'm like, whatever, sure. And I did. And then I went to bed and I woke up coincidentally, quotation marks, the next day, feeling so fresh, energy. Like I had just I don't know, had a big cleanse, like a Reiki healing retreat kind of cleanse. And I went to the next 2.0 day of family constellation. I was early because I'm always late to places typically. And I had so much energy to give. And I was like, okay, there's something here coincidentally that's working, and kind of let that sit. And months later, I just got this zing to finally get it. And I just started to understand the science. I saw what the benefits of what was happening with Cassie and Caitlin and the people they were sharing it with, like these strange phenomena. And I was like, all right, I want in on this cool little toy. And so yeah, I've been using it now the past few months, and honestly, there's so much I could share about, but I will say it's been one of my favorite, I call it manifestation enhancers. That's been like the coolest part, besides the feature of being able to use the microcurrents to really work with my body's energetic field. Like there's been some strange scenarios that have been really cool, especially the past 2 weeks, where I've used those scalar waves, which they were talking about. The scalar waves is what works with the quantum field. And there's an aspect on this tool that I'm able to plug in my my goals and like align the energy and frequency with that. And I kid you not, y'all, like there is a scenario, and I already told this with Caitlin and Cass the other week, but I had put in my little Healy, I was like, putting in my travel goals for Hawaii, because I'm going to Hawaii, and I really wanted to make sure the energy was lining up. And not only in the same conversation, I was in the kitchen typing this, I plugged it in. My mom asked me, she was like, hey, you going on a vacation or trips, any travel plans this summer? And then I had my friend text me the same day, like same 2-minute scenario. And she was like, hey, you want to go to Asheville? And I was like, all right. And another scenario, I was plugging in energy, like goals for a job I'm trying to get, or just abundance. I was like, frequencies for abundance. And calling in money and like whatever opportunities are aligned. And I swear, like I was running it at work all day for like an hour or two. And then finally this work opportunity had called me back. It's been 2 weeks, and like randomly out of the blue left me a voicemail while I was running those frequencies, says, hey, we're interested in moving forward with you. And so I'm like, wow. As you can see, I'm really excited. I didn't realize how excited I was going to be sharing this with y'all, but I will say, for me, as someone that's very sensitive to energy, who loves to create and visualize and go big, I really like this tool for the sake of being able to further enhance my manifestation, like my goals, because I can be a little lofty-loosey. And at the same time, I love the fact that it works with my subconscious field, and it's been able to really help me with some deeply rooted emotional patterns. And a lot of it's very subtle, these programs that I've been using. I have used everything under the freaking sun, y'all. I mean, Cassie and Kate will probably go over to, like, it goes everything, like everything from allergies to you know, deeply rooted mental stuff, like and you know, pain. I mean, the list goes on, but I'm not going to bore y'all. But I will say that I really like the fact that I can use it for pretty much anything to further enhance and harmonize whatever I'm working with day to day in my field. And my favorite part, like I said, the manifestation enhancer, the tool of being able to use those scalar waves and plug in my goals, like that's been like having a master, like one of those people you see that's like a monk, like one of those master monks, like sitting next to you, and it's like, hey, just do that. So I'm gonna stop boring y'all with details, but that's been my general experience. I really love it. So
Yeah, no, thank
Yeah.
you for sharing. It's
course.
really wild because everyone has such unique experiences with it, because we're all such individual beings, and the way that the frequency works in our own field is just obviously very unique. And so it's really cool to hear people's experiences.
And I think
Um,
we have a question in the chat too.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want me to read it, or?
Oh, yeah. I was just reading in my head.
So when you're connected with electrodes, it uses microcurrents and with the coil scalar waves. Is that correct?
Yes.
Cassie can answer this one. She's
Yeah.
really good at this.
Yes, that's correct. So the chords, like these are scalar waves. And then like we don't have a coil.
I have a coil on.
Caitlin has
Yeah.
coil. So she's it's also sitting through scalar waves. But I will say like and I don't know the answer, like the comparison between sending scalar waves, like using the analyze function. And we're gonna dive, like we have a slideshow where we're gonna show you exactly like what that looks like. But yeah, essentially to answer your question, the
Yes.
coil does send scalar waves.
Perfect.
And well, actually, this is actually a good segue too. We can share, like put on like just like a visual so you can see like what it looks like in the inside. Okay, so we're gonna share this.
Yeah, that'll probably help. I'm sure everyone's brains are like, what the heck?
Yeah,
going
it's really nice to have.
It's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay, cool. So y'all can see, you can see the screen, right? Okay, cool. So
I can see
then,
it. Yeah.
perfect.
Good.
So the left side, so essentially with the Healy, like, there's like 2 apps basically you can use, but I'm not gonna get too far into it. Just want to share with you, like there's program groups, and like what Nadine was just saying, like there's literally like frequencies for everything. So what we're showing you are like program groups. And I'm just gonna play this, but you can see all the types of groups of programs.
And within the program groups, there are many different frequency programs, and that's what you'll see off to the right-hand side here.
Yeah. So you have like fitness group, and within that group, you have these like there's like programs within there that really target like, you know, your muscles or regeneration or strength and stamina, stuff like that. And from there, you're able to like put on that program and start sending yourself the frequencies to support you, however that looks like. But yeah, you can see these are just like literally 5 different program groups out of a lot. But you can see there's really groups for everything, for, like Nadine was saying, like allergies. I thought I had that one here, but for your eyes, for your nerves, for like for women, like when we're menstruating, for
Oh yeah, that
sleep.
stuff works like a charm.
Oh,
then-
oh yeah. I love,
Years
yes.
there.
Yeah, it's been everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like even protection, like if you find yourselves going to, like, you know, like even at the airport, or if you're at a concert, like just lots of people, lots of energy, crowds, we like to put these programs on to kind of give like a blanket of protection so that our energy field is not influenced by any external factors or negative factors. So like so like this area that we are talking about, like there's protection programs for even like combating the energies of the planets, because we know how crazy it can get with when there's planets transitioning, and there's just like all these like themes of energy that are affecting us in our daily lives.
Yeah, we know a lot of you, as we shared in the beginning, or as we heard, are energetically sensitive, or can be, depending on the situation. And so that's why we love these in particular, because they just are, you know, additional support for when we're in environments that we can't control what's going on.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go to the next one so you can see like the different modules.
That was part 1, y'all. That was like that's like 1.0
Oh, yeah.
that the tool can use. And then what they're going to now is 2.0, which what I was talking about, the manifestation enhancer, that's my term for it. That's what they're about to go into, just so that's not confusing. There's 2
Thank
parts.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's right, because that first part we just shared too, that's where you're using like scalar waves. I'm sorry, microcurrents, and you can use scalar waves, like you can use the coil with those programs. But yeah.
Yeah, I think like that other section is like you go in, you know what you want to, which frequencies you want to use, and then you transfer to the device. Pretty like straightforward.
Yeah.
And in this feature with the analyze modules, they're really amazing because this is where the scanning features are, right?
Mhm.
Because there's the quantum sensor it's in the middle of the Healy here. And that's what's able to scan your bioenergetic field and pick up on whatever's going on. And so the resonance analysis there's 3 different modules. The one Nadine was talking about was the coaching analysis, but I'll go in order. The resonance analysis is basically taking a look at, out of all of those programs that we just previewed with you, you can scan out of those. I think there's 229 programs, and it'll provide feedback as to which ones are most resonant or most in need for you in that moment. And with the coaching analysis, that one is based on manifestation and aligning yourself with specific goals, whether personal or business. And this tool is one of our favorites. It's really, really powerful. And it's just like Nadine said, like having your own coach right here in the quantum in this device.
Because it shares with you like things that you like whatever your goal is, like things that you can work on or improve on. So whether it be like, I don't know, being able to summarize something, like literally something as simple as that, or being able to
like pay off all your debt.
Yeah.
Or, you just put in like a goal or an intention. And it, like Cassie said, shows where certain blockages are coming up. And from there, you can send frequencies to move out of those blockages and to bring yourself into alignment.
Yeah.
And do you want to explain the aura analysis?
Yeah. So the aura analysis, that is another one, like another module or feature that you can use to further harmonize like your chakras, because it's working with your 7 energy centers known as our chakras. And what it's doing is analyzing those fields and sharing with us, okay, which chakras are in need of most balance, like which ones are imbalanced, and how can we support them? And so it's going to do a scan for you, and I'm going to share with you on the next slide like how that looks like. But yeah, it'll scan your field, and then it'll share with you like 3 different chakras that need support or balance. And then it's going to dive deeper into those chakras and share with you, okay, these are the themes that are coming up for you, or these are the patterns that, you know, maybe you need to work on to further work through. So you don't have these blockages or things coming up anymore. So let me show you in this slide here. This is an example. And so it'll scan your field, and then it's going to share with you the three chakras, like in a graph type of way. And then from there, you'll click start analysis, and then it's going to give you like multiple cards. Like I call these things, these are called cards. And it's going to just share with you a little bit more in detail, you know, what's going on in your solar plexus chakra, what's the present state, how does that look like? And then where are you trying to get to in your desired state? So it's really cool.
It's very insightful.
Yeah.
And there are other details that we won't dive into too much, such as the percentage at the top left-hand corner and the numbers and the letters.
Yeah.
Those all indicate where these certain patterns or beliefs are held in our body, mind, and where they might stem from on an even deeper level. And Cassie has a great image here that kind of explains more of that. This is what we like to show people or just include. We touch on the chakras, and then also like the codes that come up on the aura cards.
Yeah, so feel free to take a screenshot of this too. I mean, I'm assuming like if you have a Healy and this is what you're working with, it's super helpful to look at. But even if you don't and you're kind of just curious like what it looks like, you can still explore this because it's really insightful. It literally shares information with you, like even from things like stemming from your like your ancestors or even from another incarnation. Because with scalar waves, it's working in the information field, right? So it's kind of like DNA. DNA contains information, and that is within our cells. So that's why it's able to be influenced and maybe influenced in a way that it's going to be in better alignment for you, like whatever the theme is.
Right. And like our DNA holds on to information from past lives. And so that's why it might pick up on things that are related to those themes.
Yeah. And I don't know if you needed, Nadine, if you wanted to like share anything, if anything's coming up for you.
I think I feel like I'm good. I think we really shared an elaborate definition of the Healy device.
Yeah, and so we can probably transition into the next part, just like how we can weave this into our daily life and even business. You can kind of get an idea already how we can weave it into our daily life, because we're just human beings and we have emotions and physical things that are going on and mental things that we're all working on, and you can already see how we can use frequency to support that. But even in a business, like if you have a business where you offer services, or if you're a chiropractor or a massage therapist, or honestly anyone who offers services,
sound facilitator, whatever it is, there are so many ways to
teacher
frequency. Literally, it doesn't even have to be within the healing arts. It could be, there are bartenders who use frequency.
Even like chefs or like restaurant owners. Because there's another thing called the Mag Healy, which we're not going to tap into too much, but there are programs that support and saturate the environment with certain frequencies. So it's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this is an example. Like we just wanted to share this with you if you do have a business or offering. Like we created this template for others, like if it's something that you want to share or use for yourself or even share with other businesses. Like a way that you can use it as an add-on.
Yeah. So for example, say you work in Reiki and you have a session and you already use the Reiki frequency, of course, and you're seeing your clients and maybe they want to experience frequency, this type of frequency with Healy. And so you can add it on as another, part of the package. And we've just seen people who have begun to implement frequency with Healy into their current practices, and it's a way to reach more people and to help more people. And I mean, who doesn't want to to take part in that? And I think being able to help people in their well-being, it's a really powerful gift to have and to share.
So if you want, or like if you want this template, by the way, we do have the link on Canva to share it with you. You would just make a copy. but you can even use that as inspiration. Like you can change colors or do whatever you want to make it your own. But yeah, we wanted to share this as an example because it's a nice visual to get people like an idea like, oh, how can I use this in my business? Like, how does that work? So that's essentially what it does.
I also want to add to that. Yeah, like I just want to iterate that what we were just sharing with this tool, it's not meant to replace your own gifts, your own healing capacity, your own whatever that is, your talents, your gifts. What this really is designed to be is a bridge to help further enhance and further connect that which you already have, or that which you haven't even tapped into but have potential to reach. Like that, this is really what it is. This is what I see as the visionary in me speaking, the next level to our evolution that's actually going to help us evolve and thrive as species, as galactic beings, however you want to like word it. Like this really is a tool to really assist us. And it's the beautiful thing is it's universal. Anyone like they're saying, your freaking dog, like a building, you could even put frequencies for a building. I mean, like the shit, it gets like it can be whatever you want it to be. And I think that's a really cool thing because not all products, not all like services can really provide all the different categories. But for this and the reason that this does is because it's working with the quantum. Anything working with the quantum, you're gonna have more benefits for all, like all can benefit. And that's great. We want something that's going to benefit all beings. If it's not benefiting all beings, this isn't the right thing to be sharing about or to be using. And yeah, just want to mention that we are powerful beings, and this is just a master of energy that we're using to further master our own energy. It's, we can only do so much as humans. If we're all like taking mushrooms all the time or like, out of this physical vessel, then maybe we wouldn't need something like this tool to help us, because we would be in like the quantum just creating things without having any form to limit us. So like to me, like this makes perfect sense as far as a tool that you use in addition. So anyways, kind of went off.
Yes, I also think the reason why love it. I was gonna add that I think the reason why this feels so in alignment for us is because of the creators behind it. And Healy's mission is also to raise the frequency and the vibration of this planet, to raise the collective consciousness. And how freaking dope is that? That there are people out there, like a company that has it as its mission, because that's pretty hard to find nowadays. But the creator of Healy, Marcus Schmieke, he is a German physicist and he was a monk for 12 years. So there was a lot of intention that went into the creation of this. And that's why also, like, I guess Cassie and I wanted to also share a little bit about how this has supported us financially with the business side of Healy, because we'll just touch on it briefly, but not only can you use the device for yourself and share it with your family, but you can also get compensated simply for recommending it to people. Like it's kind of the same thing. Like if I had a hair dryer that I freaking loved, or I mean it's probably a bad example because those aren't that great for hair, but
like a sweater or a jacket, and like it's like a raincoat, and like it's just like keeps all the rain away.
Effective.
You're never what?
Yeah, like it really works well. You would naturally tell your friends and family about it, because why wouldn't you want them to have that? And so it works really similarly with Healy. And so Cassie and I had been working a really toxic 9-to-5 job last year, and we had this like urge to just leave, and we weren't sure what the heck we were going to do. And Healy had just come into our field actually a few weeks before we quit. And it felt so in alignment, and it was just like an automatic yes. We knew we wanted to work with it ourselves as a tool to improve our health, but we were also found out that there was a business side to it, and we were like, all right, cool, let's check it out. And so we got our device, we quit our jobs a few weeks later, and of course there was some work we had to do in between to make ends meet, but eventually we were able to share Healy with a lot of our friends and family and create a team of our own within the business. And it's structured kind of like mycelium. It's not, a typical pyramid as some people may have, like that network affiliate marketing, sometimes there's a little bit of ick when we bring up that topic, but it's a really genius structure within Healy. And long story short, we are now able to dedicate ourselves full time to Healy and to working with a team of these conscious, like-minded entrepreneurs who also have the same mission of raising the frequency of the planet. And we have location freedom, and it's just really powerful, like to hone in on your goals and your dreams and reflect like what can bring you there. And for us, this was a vehicle. So I just wanted to touch on that real briefly.
Yeah, I love that.
I got to witness their transformation too. It was really cool.
Mhm.
I wanted to add something to that before I feel like we can open the door for like questions, curiosities, and whatever. But I just want to add to that, like that even if you didn't use this as like an income producing opportunity and you didn't share about it with anyone, you just wanted to use it for yourself, that's great, because the fact that you're still getting benefit and it's still, changing your life on some level, that's amazing. And my visionary me wants to speak right now, because they're beyond this product, beyond this extra stream of income you can make. I really want to drive this point home, because I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but right now we're in a huge economic shift, like big time. And if you're not aware of it, you need to get aware of it on all different levels. Like we are switching systems from like whatever this was in the 3-dimensional to more of a quantum kind of way of going about things in our financial system. Banks are failing, businesses are starting to like shut down. And they're starting to transfer into crypto and like all these different things. And as we saw in 2020, nothing is guaranteed, and relying on just one stream of income is not really supportive. Like it can be, but it's not. And it's really important to build your assets, build your wealth, build these extra streams. Yeah, financial sovereignty. Yes, Kathy and Kate, financial sovereignty. So you're not relying on some entity outside of yourself to support you, and if you're already doing services for the greater good, like you're a massage therapist, Reiki healer, why wouldn't you want to add something in addition to further help you work for you and not you work for it? Like going back to the basis of energy, we want energy to work for us, not we have to work so hard for it. And the same is true for our money. Money is very tied to energy because it's a medium of exchange. So I really want to make that clear. Like just in general, like if you just like came off this call, you're like, all right, cool, whatever, fuck Healy. Great, that's fine. But really get clear. Like that's like I have so much insight on so many things. I just want to share, like, please educate yourself on financial sovereignty, because not all things are going to be supportive for us. And this may not be for you, and that's great. And if it is for you, great. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I think the intention there was to really just empower and bring home the fact that we need to be sovereign and liberate ourselves and create abundance in all ways. So
Oh yeah,
Preach.
we agree
Mic
for
drop.
sure.
all right, thanks for my sermon. That's all.
I think we can open this up for some questions if anybody wants to chime in, or if you want to drop them in the chat. We'd love to hear if anything comes up.
Also, before anyone leaves, I just wanted to share this Facebook group, because I don't know if we mentioned it, but there's a Facebook group with Healy. It's like called Frequency Experience, and it's basically shares like people's experiences using frequencies to support whatever they need, and even with their animals or pets and things like that. So if you want to check this out,
yeah, there's over 80,000 people in the group. Like everyone around the world that's using frequency.
So check it out. If you're just curious about it and just want to see like, okay, I heard your stories, like I want to see other people's. That's an awesome resource. But yeah, opening the floor for questions.
Yes, we'd love to hear it, please. We don't want to just be talking.
So which one of the Healy do you guys have? Like Nadine, which one were you using? I'm on their
Uh,
website. So Healy Gold, Holistic, Resonance, Resonance Plus, and
I got the
Professional.
coach, or the not the coach, sorry. What is it called? The
professional.
professional. Yeah, I don't know why I keep thinking it's coach. Yeah. So that, yeah, the professional is really good for those that already have services that you're doing, or you just want to use every kind of tool that Healy offers. That's a great one. Although it's not necessary, but it is, I recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, we started with, when we got our device, we started with a Resonance Plus. But we'd realized it didn't have like all the programs that we were wanting, which was with like, it was with
Like beauty.
job. I think it was, yeah, beauty and job. Cause I think job, there's like programs for your nervous system and to like, to better regulate that and like stress and tension and all those things. Cause we were, like we said, we were working a really shitty 9-to-5 job. So like I was like, I need this. And protection. I think the protection programs that we went over, those are only in the professional,
Yes.
and there's like a couple other programs
There's
that
a
are.
few others as
yeah.
well that make the distinction, but I think
Yeah.
when we realized that we upgraded, but in the long run, like just keeping that in mind, it can cost a lot more to upgrade. So we always encourage, like, if you want to have access to the coaching analysis and like the aura analysis and have access to all those programs, it's really best to just go with the professional.
So you guys have the professional as well then?
Yeah, so we had upgraded to
do.
the professional.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no regrets either. Like,
Nope.
it's, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, we like fought over it. Cassie and I only had one device in the beginning. And like through working with Healy, like they'll eventually, like depending, they send free devices as you share it with more people. And so we now have our own, luckily, but in the beginning it was like, God dang, are you done with your program
Yeah,
yet?
like, when are you done? Are you done yet?
Yeah. But let us know if you have any other specific questions that come up with that.
I have a
So with-
question.
Yes.
Hi. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for all the information. It's awesome. I do have a device. I went nuts and got the professional, and again, I do not regret it at all whatsoever. I've used it so much with myself, my friends, my family. My question specifically is when you do run a program and with the electrodes and with the coil, I just got the coil, so now I'm a little bit new with the coil. And sometimes it sends you that notice the frequency is flowing, but it's not a measurable current. Is that so? When you're talking about the currents or versus scalar waves or something like that, like coming from a skeptic kind of side from it, like can I trust that it's still working, because it kind of goes in and out? Is that normal, or you know what I'm talking about when you see the frequency line?
And you're talking like when, like specifically, because I think that's more applicable whenever you're using the actual chords. Because sometimes like like example, I put on a program, and then you know how you like adjust the intensity. They say to adjust it until you see a flow. Sometimes if I'm adjusting too much and like the intensity is like going over like 35%, then I first like to dip my finger in like water, or just, and then kind of like put my finger in here, like where the wristband is, and just like put like a film of water, because like as we know, like our bodies are full of water, and so water is conductive, so that's going to help the flow. But if you're still experiencing like no flow, I've noticed that sometimes too, like I think it too depends, because I've seen frequencies that or also drinking water too, like that's a main thing too, like staying hydrated.
Yeah. So I think I actually did learn that from you guys a little while back. So I actually, yes, it was your aura scan demo. So especially when I'm running those programs, I make sure like I have a full glass or 2 glasses of water. I have a big bottle. I guess the ultimate question is, when I do see that, can I still trust that it's running, or am I constantly trying to mess with the intensity?
Yeah, I would say like, and if we're just talking with the cord, like not the coil, because the coil is different. The cord would like, I still do trust, because okay, like also with Healy, as you know, like when we pick these programs, they actually have a big pool of other frequencies. There's actually hundreds of frequencies in like a program, just depending on what it is. So just know too, like you remember how like the Healy, whenever it's like scanning your field, even when you have the wristbands on and when you start the program, it's actually scanning your field and it's kind of creating like a feedback loop and analyzing, okay, so out of this pool of frequencies, like which frequencies does Yasmin need? And so what it's doing is it's kind of cherry picking and giving you those frequencies. And I've noticed when I'm kind of looking at it, because like it'll change like every like I think it's every 6 seconds or 9 seconds, like it's changing because it's giving you like a certain percentage or a certain amount of a frequency. I've noticed that it does change. Like sometimes I won't have a flow for a certain frequency. And then the next one that changes, like I have a flow. And so I do trust, like, and it doesn't happen all the time. Like this just happened like once and then everything else it flowed. But what my point with that is saying like, sometimes I would still trust as long as you generally have a flow, like the majority of the time, you just know that it's flowing. Maybe sometimes like there's like a certain frequency that might not just be like registering or going through. But I don't like also to disclaim, like I don't even know if that's like an official answer. It's just from my experience.
Yeah, I
But,
would just say overall, like as long as there's like every time I still have to put water inside the wristbands as well, and that usually solves it. So keep us posted.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't tried the water in the wristband, so I'll definitely do that and keep you posted.
that's
That's
probably
great information.
cool.
for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I
Yeah.
have not been as hydrated as I should be recently, so it very well could be that. Thank you.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I also want to add too that for others that don't have a device right now, like this is probably like information go over your head. Don't worry about like latching onto the information. And I want to say, Yasmin, for me, I used to have like some water current stuff come up when I first got my Healy. And when I started putting the water underneath my wristband and just remain hydrated, it started to show up less. And I actually noticed that my body wanted more intensity whenever it would show up as no current sometimes. So
Yeah.
Okay,
You also,
beautiful.
you also notice yourself getting more like after I like even during or after I run a program, I notice myself like my mouth getting dry and I'm like, dang, I need to keep just drinking water because like obviously the frequency it's using like water is the vehicle in our body to move around. So you'll kind of notice that too.
I do notice that too, yes, for sure.
Right.
It's cool though, yeah.
Oh,
Anything
well,
else? Oh yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say too, if anything comes up for anyone, feel free to
Yeah.
message any of us. You know, we're here to talk frequency, and we love this. We love geeking out about the quantum. So we're here for you and excited for you on y'all's journeys.
I have 3 questions.
oh
Right.
boy.
That's
Yeah,
great.
Okay. So, number 1. A sort of it's just so funny because everybody or you're like, yeah, if anybody has questions, I'm just waiting here. I'm like looking for my opportunity. But question number 1 is in the case that you're like around a lot of energy, I feel like we're very much conduits of energy. I mean, it's like you were talking earlier about how we have a natural electromagnetic field around us. And so a sort of curiosity that I had was, is it necessarily a good thing to block yourself from receiving all of these frequencies? Where this sort of comes from is like wanting to be from like a self-sufficient standpoint and not like needing something to regulate my energetic field, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we see Healy as in frequency as it's not outsourcing, you know, because we agree, like the whole point of this is health sovereignty. And so it's really just a tool to allow ourselves to access like those parts of ourselves, right? Like we still have to do the work and we still have to like confront what comes up for us as we run these frequencies, because when you work in the quantum, like things start to show up in our lives and they're like going to bring us those lessons that we need to learn. And so I still fully believe that this is just like we're literally just using the energy that already exists in our body to bring ourselves back into balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that does make sense.
Did I answer the question? I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what else you got for us?
Question number 2 was, I don't think there's such a thing as like bad frequencies. I think that all frequencies just sort of have their purpose.
Mhm.
But I'm curious, what if you were to like express what if the Healy were to express the frequency that's not best? Like, can you do harm that way?
Good question.
I don't know if I understand, but do you?
Are you asking if there's like, if there were to be a harmful frequency within Healy?
Not quite. So let's say that it's hard to think of an example, but basically somebody needed some sort of frequency, but the frequency that I played for them just deepened the state that they were in that they didn't want to be in. Does that make sense? So it's just like a frequency that's not only not helpful, it for their given emotional and energetic state, it is negative for them.
I think I can answer that a little bit. For my lens, I feel like to kind of put it all into perspective, there's always going to be harmonious frequencies, but like to answer specifically, maybe there's certain ones you don't want to use at a certain time depending on what you're working with, but that's why it's really imperative if you are working with clients to have that, if you remember that little resonance little scanner thing on what the picture she showed us. That's why it's really imperative to go on there to further help beyond just your intuition, so that you can see what is in their field that they're needing. Because in the scanner, it's only going to pick up what your body is needing and in resonance with, like what it suggests what it needs more of, not enhancing what like is already there that's disharmony, if that makes sense. So the whole purpose of the tool is to harmonize, but like using that resonance scanner, that quantum sensor, is only going to help, especially with working with clients, to further accurately work with the program that's going to be best for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Yeah. So I was kind of guessing those where it was going, just like hearing y'all talk about like the aura scanner and like what the client in this instance would need. What happens if like that frequency isn't what I need, for example, like what if that frequency, it brings them a lot of healing, but it dysregulates me,
I think to answer that question, there are frequency devices that are kind of like a one size fits all, where, like you're using it and it's only giving you like specific or it's only giving you like frequencies, but not all of them you need. And I think that's what makes Healy, like the Healy technology and device, different, because and I think it's the only device that actually can scan and analyze your field in real time and share with you, okay, like kind of like tuning a guitar. It's like you're tuning it and just like in real time, I'm like, okay, like these strings need more attunement. Like and we're analyzing it and it's giving you like feedback with, okay, what does Jackson need? And so it's never going to give you, first, like to answer the other question, there's no harmful frequencies within Healy. There's actually like some feedback we received from them, and it's been studied and proven with like microcurrents and everything. And if you knew like Marcus Schmeke and like the whole company and like the intention, like you'll for sure, it's like there's no harmful frequencies. But yeah, so that's just essentially what it does, is give you.
And I like where you're going with that, like it's not a one size fits all. And because of the quantum sensor, like Cassie said, it's able to like constantly be giving you feedback and only giving you enough to fill your cup and not overflow.
Yeah, and like an example would be like running like that fitness program, like that example you saw. Like if both of us put on, one for muscles. If I put that on, Caitlin put that on, you remember like that pool of frequencies that we just talked about, how it has like hundreds of frequencies, but it's going to pick and choose which ones are right for me. The same thing with Caitlin. And so we're probably not even going to receive the certain like specific frequencies or the same frequencies And like, we're just going to receive different doses of them and all of that. So that's like another nice visual, like another way to think about that.
Can I add in like a quick analogy that really helped me understand this? So when I heard this analogy of like, say Cassie and I are both like going to get dessert, or like, we're making a chocolate cake, but Cassie likes to have like 3 eggs in hers, or a cup of flour in mine, like I only need like 1 egg. And so the difference between like most frequency technology and Healy is like most of the devices like give you a set recipe, like, and then that's sent out to each person. And so Healy's different because it's like, okay, how many eggs do you need, how much flour, and then it knows like when enough is enough. So from what I've heard, there's no way for Healy to give you what you don't need. And I don't know if you guys can expand on this more. I'm trying to remember how they explained it, but it was like, if you're not like in resonance with it, like it won't affect you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's
Have you
no,
guys heard that?
yeah, with like in the book, The Resonance Effect, Carolyn McMacken actually talks about like when she was using those big machines, like with it had like 2 channels, and she was using one frequency for one thing for the tissue, and then the other channel and frequency for the issue, like the condition. She actually said like she was testing them out. Thank you so much, Elena. She was like testing them out, and even whenever she was running frequencies and like it didn't make any effect or difference with the person, it wasn't doing anything, like it doesn't harm them. It only can help them. So it's just kind of like nothing, and because it doesn't resonate. And then the next frequency she would move to, like she would see like if it resonates or if there's still nothing, and she would kind of like test it out. That's kind of like how Healy does too. But Healy will give you everything you need instead of like, the way that she did it, because she was using a different device. So
And I think the only way you can overdo it is like they say with the microcurrents, with like either the ear clips or the bands, like you should only do up to 3 programs a day and not turn the intensity super, super high, or you can kind of zap yourself or overstimulate yourself. But other than that, I don't think there's a way to like harm yourself with
for
Healy.
sure. Yeah, thank you for sharing this.
Can I answer your question, the second one?
Yeah. I mean, what I'm sort of gathering is that there isn't a bad frequency, it'll just sort of, but it's cool to hear that that when it comes to Healy, it's a very curated experience per person, that's cool. Also, I hope that it's not coming across like I'm like doubting the power of frequency. I love frequency. I'm just like very curious about different aspects.
For sure. No, we welcome all the questions,
These
even the
are-
skeptics, the
these-
uncertainty. It's
Yeah, and I was gonna say these are really good questions, and I'm sure like people have like similar curiosity. So thank you for bringing them up.
yeah, we appreciate you.
Did you have a third question, Jackson? Or is that the third?
That was the second.
Cool, go ahead.
So, which Healy would you recommend? Because I'm a massage therapist and I want to be able to sort of use it with clients as well, sort of as an add-on. That sounds like a really brilliant idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
what-
Yeah, I was just gonna say we actually work with a massage therapist. Our friend Allie, she uses it with her clients. And with what we shared before regarding the different additions, we recommend the professional. And then also what would come in handy is the coil. So I'll show you.
Oil, like, this is what it looks like.
And it just plugs into the device here, and it allows it to become cordless so that they can wear it during the session.
Also, the Mag Healy is 35% off if you want to harmonize your whole space in your massage
We
area.
actually used the mag when Caitlin and I went to like an appointment for a massage. We actually brought it with us because it has frequencies that saturate the atmosphere with like relaxation. So we brought it with us and just kind of put it down our little spaceship.
There's also like body comfort frequency, like it can be used on the body as well. And we know practitioners who will allow, the client will use it, and it can just rest like even on like the solar plexus area.
Yeah.
And it helps better bring them into this deep state of relaxation. Or if they were in pain, it can like help harmonize pain before the session starts so that they can like fully relax. So there's, I guess to answer your question, either of those would be great options. The mag or the Healy Professional with the coil.
Yeah.
I wanted to add to that too, so it's a little precise. So like if you're in your massage therapy room, I would say like the mag Healy, what they're talking about, the one that kind of looks like a smoke detector, that one is good if you're just wanting to use it indirectly in the environment. Like if you don't want any kind of hands-on contact with the client and it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, you could use it that way. Or if you're just wanting to use the frequency device that we were showing you that you use the currents with, that would be a good approach if you're wanting to work hands-on with the client and have it be a complementary two as one kind of approach with the massage and the frequencies. So that one would be good for adding on services, and like you can add an extra charge or include it in your massage pricing. So it just depends on what you're looking for as far as your massage therapy goals, as far as how you want to best reach your clients. You could use both, and that would definitely amplify, and one would be just fine. It just depends on your approach and what you're wanting. That makes
I will
sense.
say the mag Healy does like support with pain too. So like kind of what you were saying, like if that's something, because like there's Carolyn McMacken has like she has like programs within there, and she was working in like sports medicine, so she worked with lots of athletes and sports injuries and even like soldiers and all these people, and like I know her programs would be amazing to work with like pain and stuff like that.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you brought to this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, brought a lot of
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, I definitely want to respect everyone's time. I know it's over an hour.
wow, we really
But
Yeah, we can go ahead and end the recording, and then we can say goodbye from there. So thank you all for coming, and stay tuned for our next workshop.
Yep. And then if you are